And welcome from the SPS trade show in Nuremberg. The entire team in front or behind the camera is more than excited that we have day 2 of our live and interactive stream here from the trade show. You may know this or not, the trade show is not that old. It started 1990 actually in Sindelfingen, a small city not far away from here. And just since 1997, the SPS IPC Drives trade show these days was in Nuremberg on only 14,000 square meters. Now today, this is the SPS, the Smart Production Solution trade show, and it is the #1 trade show for industrial automation in Nuremberg, and today on more than 130,000 square meters. And over the last 20 years, also Beckhoff exhibit developed in a significant way. And today we are proud to be the second largest booth here on more than 1,800 square meters. And that means for you, as a customer, a prospect, or just an interested person, a lot of innovation, news, technology highlights. And that's again the matter of this live stream, to present to you highlights of the day. If you got questions, use the chat window maybe right away and ask the question, and the chat team is more than happy to answer it. Or send an email to me at beckhoff.com and we can answer your questions right away. That was enough in the beginning. I would like to switch over to Felix now with important I/O news.
Thank you, Roland, for this introduction, but I would like to comment on something. You said we have the second biggest booth on the SPS exhibition here in Nuremberg, and we do have this for a very specific reason, because we have a lot of products on the booth. And some of these products are standard, 8-channel digital input terminals, for example, but some of them are very special. And Fabian, you have something very special in your hand. I know this connector a little bit bigger from my TV at home, from the antenna. What kind of terminal do you have in your hand?
It's a GNSS, a Global Navigation Satellite System terminal. So you can connect an antenna and connect to this system and get a synchronization time into your application.
And this seems to be very helpful if I would like to synchronize, for example, many cookie machines all over the world, so I can make sure that the chocolate chip cookies come all out at the same time. But when we talk about synchronization and about accuracy time-wise, we're talking about microseconds. So why would you use this? Why do you want to synchronize everything so accurate?
Applications like radar systems to the sky. When you look to the sky and want to see one star for 24 hours, for example, then the whole Earth is turning, and you have to synchronize all radar systems to see the same spot. And by using this synchronization as precise as 1 microsecond, that's directly connected to the image resolution. So it's really important for our customers to have this really precise time synchronization, for example, in this application.
And you told me another application could be in grid monitoring, that you can find errors in the electricity grid much easier with time synchronized measurement stations throughout the grid, right?
Also correct, yes, because when there is an error in the grid, you want to know where that is. And you measure the grid at certain points and then measure how long it takes that you see the error. And then you can locate the error by having a good time synchronization in your measurement setup. And that is done by this terminal. And just because it is a GPS terminal, it also gets some goodies like the position, the speed, and the direction you're heading to.
Okay, so a wide variety of use cases, which I couldn't really imagine. So we can look into the sky and we can find out where the tree has fallen on the power cable. I think that's very useful and very interesting that we also offer something for this. Thank you very much, Fabian. And I would like to continue with some dynamic measurement electronics, because Fabian's terminal needs an antenna. And if you are on the shop floor and you want to know about the movements, or if you want to measure movement, then that's not really helpful. Dirk, what do you have in your hand?
So that's an EtherCAT box.
Yeah?
So we have an EtherCAT connection here, and you're absolutely right. If you are in a hall like we are here on the SPS, there's no direct connection, visual connection to the satellite, so you cannot find any movements.
Yeah.
That's why we integrated a gyroscope
Okay.
for movements, for rotational movements, and a accelerometer, 3 axis both, into this box. That's called an IMU, an inertial measurement unit. So we can measure rotational speed and inclination, angle things.
Okay, very interesting. I think so. This box is more like a sensor, and I can imagine that there are some other vendors for devices like this. What are we doing different, and what is the benefit of integrating it into an EtherCAT box?
Yeah, absolutely. You say that there are sensors like that on the market, not like that, but there are sensors IMUs on the
Nothing
market.
is like that for sure.
Like that. Absolutely. No, but all these sensors typically use a pre-configured system with a CPU maybe, but they have a very slow communication interface. RS-232 or 422 serial communication, and we use our fast EtherCAT, fast and deterministic, real-time capable. And that's the thing. So when we sample the data, we cannot only transmit pre-filtered data, but we can also transmit the raw data.
Okay.
And on
So
an IPC, then you can really
perfect.
you can do all the calculations on your own. Our customers can do that.
You can calculate them back from the acceleration to the movement and do lots of adventurous things with it.
Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with that. Yeah, actually.
And what are the use cases which are realized with this? Because this seems to be something where somebody said, man, this would be a nice addition to the Beckhoff portfolio, yeah?
Yep, exactly. First thing, of course, since it speaks EtherCAT, it's perfect. It goes into the system very easy.
Yep.
And applications you ask for that is AGVs.
Yeah, okay.
We talked about that someday earlier already. Our antenna stabilization, what Fabian just
Goes hand in hand, perfect.
Goes hand in hand. Or cranes, where you lift goods or loads, heavy loads. And imagine you have like a wind turbine and the blade is swinging and you want to stabilize that thing. So that is a good application.
So, but I think that's such a powerful statement in general, that we have the capability, development-wise, sales-wise, to offer all these different products which have sometimes are not really super close to classic machine automation, but at Beckhoff you can find it and we can integrate it into our system.
Absolutely.
Dirk, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day at the exhibition and see you later. Something which is almost as heavy as the blade of a wind turbine is a control cabinet, and we tried to reinvent control cabinets and we wanted to make the machine control cabinet free with the MX system, but we are standing in front of a big control cabinet. Marvin, why is this the case?
Yeah, so a control cabinet is what the people are familiar with. This is not the first cabinet that we brought to a trade show, but this is definitely the biggest one. So we just want to present that the MX system is also capable of bigger infeeds, bigger machines.
Okay, so this looks quite spectacular. I see a lot of color, and I assume this has a reason. Can you explain me what's behind the color and how we can translate it maybe into the MX?
Yeah, so it's not only the biggest cabinet, but it's also the most colorful.
It looks very nice.
Thank you. So we try to distribute it into different functional bundles, so that a machine has different process stations. So these all correspond to a specific station in a machine. And maybe we can go over here, because this is the conventional stuff.
So this is the translation to MX, which we also like to support for our customers always, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And here you could find the equivalent of that cabinet, but now in a modular design. So we find MX system for each and every station, so we just mount them exactly where they need it.
So this is like a translation wall for classic control cabinet to MX, also with colors.
Right.
And I can see that we have some new modules. I see these big modules and I see these ones which look a little bit unfamiliar to me. What can you tell me about these two modules?
Yeah, so bigger cabinet means also bigger energy consumption of the overall cabinet. So we also need bigger infeed on the MX system. So we introduce our size 3, which means we have bigger base plates, which allows us to not only mount more modules on there, but also to mount bigger modules on there. So this is an infeed module capable of 63 amps.
Wow.
We go up to 125 in total, and we also have bigger DC links, bigger drives, and so on. And the other thing you mentioned down here is our pneumatic integration. So we now also bring the pneumatics onto the MX system.
And so this is really interesting because we enable many more use cases, we enable more powerful drives, we integrate the pneumatic part of the machine, and then you have especially asked me to talk about one more thing, which is about power supply, because many people need pneumatics, for example, but everybody needs 48 volts, right? And we have something quite special, which is not so uncommon, right?
So here you can see a regular 48 volt power supply.
Yeah.
It is capable of 40 amps.
Yeah.
So we can use it for our compact motion.
Yeah.
But
You can also use
we
it
also
for other
have,
products, right?
Right. We have also other Beckhoff products that need 48 volts and also a lot of power. So we can also use these with different interfaces on the front so that we can connect, for example, our Atro, we can connect our XTS, and for example, our AMI motors.
So the MX system is really the starting point for the entire automation of the machine and integrates nicely and seamlessly with all other Beckhoff technologies.
That's
right?
a nice conclusion.
Thank you very much. I try to give my very best. Thank you very much, Marvin. And now I would like to go with you to the official, or to my official highlight of the SPS exhibition, which is the new XPlanar tile. Before we talk about the new wonderful XPlanar tile, which we are distributing here in this fascinating demo, I would like to ask you, Johannes, we introduced the XPlanar 2018 at the SPS exhibition. We introduced it to the market in 2021. So since then, everybody can order it from the catalog. What have we learned since then?
Oh, first of all, we learned that this is a really fascinating technology, which is not only nice to watch, but also fun to think about and to develop and to sell, actually. But we also learned that the XPlanar has many, many different applications. So starting in classical machine building, pharma industry, food industry, also a lot of assembly industry, but also for restaurant applications, for transporting meals to the table, or even art installations. We had all different kind of requests and applications. And while listening to our customers, we learned one thing. When we start thinking about applications, we have to start with the product of the customer.
Yeah. Can you elaborate this a little bit? What does it mean, starting with the product of the customer?
Well, so the XPlanar in first sense is a transport system. So there's a product which has to be transported. This product has a certain size and it also has a weight. So the customer comes, oh, I have this product, weighs 500 grams, and we say, oh, you can transport 500 grams with this small mover, APM4220. Another customer comes with, oh, my product is 1 kilogram, so this cannot carry 1 kilogram, but this one here can. And then we have the perfect mover for the product, and then we need like the perfect tire, so the perfect motor and engine tire for the mover for space-efficient application.
And let's go to the exhibition wall and have a look at this, because here you can actually see it. This is the existing XPlanar tile, 240 by 240 millimeters, and if we now put the small mover on it, then we can actually see perfect for two-way operation, right?
Exactly, and you always, or in many machines, you need the two-way operation because there's a way forth and there's always a way back, and this has to be as space efficient as possible. So 500 grams with this mover, perfectly possible on the existing tile. 1 kilogram or 2 kilograms with this mover, does not fit at all. We need two tiles, so we lose space.
Yeah, so we need a second tile, which means 240 by 240 is then 480, but the movers are only roughly 310 millimeters wide, right?
Exactly, so there we lose 100 millimeters of space. So we developed a new tile which has a different form factor. It's a little bit bigger, the APS4244, which is 320 times 320 square millimeters. And you see this mover fits perfectly in a two-lane operation on this tile. And we also have another one which is half the size where we can do the one-lane operation. And we have a different form factor, but we did not only make the old tile bigger, we also adapted the technology inside. We learned a lot in the last years, and we get much more precise, we get much more dynamic. So it's also a technology leap for the XPlanar.
Yeah, that's true, but we wanted to keep something, and this was the price per surface area. So if we look at applications with this, then 1 square meter with the new tile is actually just as expensive or inexpensive as with the existing tile. When we look at some applications which we have realized, what can you tell us about the advantages for the customer with this new form factor?
Yeah, for example, we investigated in the application we have in our own production for our I/O terminals, and there we use this mover to transport our I/O terminals. And if we use this tile instead of the old tile, we can save approximately 50% of the space, and that also means means 50% of the cost.
Yeah.
So it's not only much more precise and much more dynamic, it's also much more space efficient for many, many applications.
Yeah. And I think that's a very, very good call to action for everybody who stood at the Beckhoff exhibition or looked at our website and scratched their head and said, nice technology, but maybe it's a little bit too expensive, maybe a little bit too big, I don't know, it's not maybe not precise enough. It's now definitely time to reconsider this, and we would be happy to discuss this with you. Thank you, Johannes. And now we go to a topic which might also be interesting for the XPlanar community in future. This is PCs with GPUs.
So Felix' official highlight is XPlanar, which can be used maybe in a sushi bar. Well, it sounds cool, but I think I got my real highlight coming up next, because now we're talking about IPCs, and we go into the C60 family. You may remember years back we started with the C6015, the ultra-compact, small, compact IPC for new automation tasks. Since then, Anne, we developed a huge range of C60 products, 15, 25, all the way to the 6030. But now we have a brand new highlight on the trade show, the C6043. So Anna, let's do some feature bashing. What is this all about?
Okay, so the 6043 is an extension of the C6040. So also during the development of the C6040, we have ensured that the power supply is big enough, that all signals needed in the second layer are available. So and on the CPU side, we have the same features like for the C6040. So we have a Core i CPU with the 13th generation, 64 GB RAM available. And in the second layer, so in the right extension, we have an MXM graphic card with an NVIDIA GPU, concrete with the RTX A500. So this graphic card has about 2,000 CUDA cores, 64 tensor cores, sorry. And also 4 GB graphics RAM.
Wow, so this combines then our PC power together with the graphic card power.
Exactly.
But I mean, I do this now a couple of years in the IPC department. We never used graphic cards for specific reasons. Now the new generation is coming, and boom, we have a graphic card. So why is it now possible to integrate a graphic card also into our IPCs?
So the reason is quite simple. So until now, the applications in industrial environment were sufficient realized with the integrated GPU of the CPU. So the eGPU. Yeah. But now the topic artificial intelligence becomes more important, and therefore we need a hardware that is able to process many operations in parallel.
Okay.
So, and therefore a graphic card is well suited. And therefore we have decided to integrate this graphic card inside. And here we have a solution that is long-term available and also suited for industrial.
Okay. But are there more graphic cards to come, or is this the one and only we can offer?
No, so we're starting with this card, so the A500, but we are already evaluating the graphic cards of the next generation, so of the Ada Lovelace generation called, and that will come surely. And this will be also more performant than this one, and so that's very interesting for the high-performance customers.
Okay. I think it's also important to point out now we combine actually an IPC and a graphic IPC. Yes. So if we put this together, the customer can still use our typical IPC features for automation.
Yes, of course. So we have a complete IPC on the left side. So Intel Core i CPU, RAM, hybrid architecture in the CPU. So that means we have performance cores and efficiency cores. And we can also use Trinket Core Boost. So that's a feature of the CPUs that can be used since the 11th generation. So you can adapt the frequency of the CPU to the application requirements. And so you have the maximum performance. And in addition, you have the graphic cards, for example, for artificial intelligence.
Well, this is perfect. We combine two worlds into just one. Excellent, Anne. Thank you. And now I can invite my dear colleague, Fabio, from the TrinKet team. Because, Fabian, now we have IPC power for automation plus graphic power. And you're waiting for this now for a long time. So why?
Well, honestly saying, I'm not waiting for it. Our customers are already waiting for it. Because we have many, many vision customers. And with vision customers also we are faced with different kinds of requirements. One requirement is to run also very large deep learning models, also in very low cycle times.
And what do customers do now with this graphic performance? What is the use case?
Well, use cases are mostly in via visual inspection. They want to inspect wood or food, everything that has natural variance. That's where deep learning is very effective compared to conventional vision engineering.
Well, perfect. So we have TwinCAT software available, IPC hardware. That's a perfect match. Thank you, the two of you. Now, perfect match needs customers. And it's a pleasure for me now for the first time ever that we switch now live to a customer. So we leave Nuremberg and we go 65 kilometers east to Amberg. And in Amberg is the company Baumann Automation. And it's a pleasure for me to welcome Mr. Ebnet and Mr. Rauch from Baumann Automation. And they are standing in the middle of the factory hall. Now, Baumann is a Beckhoff customer for many years, system user, EtherCAT user, 7,000 machines in the field, and a very cool slogan, no guts, no glory. So I think, Mr. Ebnet, maybe you start with some basic information. What is Baumann doing actually overall?
Yes, at Baumann we see ourselves as an internationally operating high-tech family business with over 1,000 employees worldwide. Our strengths include a high level of software expertise and 40 years of experience in mechanical design. Our customers mainly come from the automotive and the automotive supplier and electronic industries.
Now, I see you standing in Hamburg at the factory shop floor, and right behind you is like a huge set of machines. So what is this machine doing and what is Baumann overall doing actually?
Yes, here behind me you see a machine that is a testing machine for high power electronics, and we build it up in a Baumann-like way. That means Baumann Robox technology. Baumann Robox is a automation platform for this allows us to solve a lot of things what the customer's needs are. We have a software competence inside, software modules, and also modules of hardware systems that we can configure more or less that line, and it helps us.
Well, I think this is easier said than done, or we can just configure this, and I think this puts a big challenge to the technique. So, Mr. Rauch, you and your team are responsible for the automation, and I know that you decided years back to use TwinCAT and EtherCAT for your machines. Can you tell us what was the motivation for this decision?
We use more than 15 years now Beckhoff. EtherCAT is one big advantage. We have just one bus system for different kind of requests. So we have normal I/O handling, we have drive functionality, we have safety functionality, and we have just one bus system. It's also in a wide range available on the market. So a lot of intelligent systems uses EtherCAT, like robot systems, like camera systems. So for us, the most important thing is that we have a flexible system with a good performance. And every request which we had in the past, we have fulfilled with EtherCAT.
Well, that's good to know that EtherCAT can fulfill all this. I just remember a statement Mr. Ebnet said at the beginning that you have software competence in-house. Well, honestly, this is good for you. But I mean, this competence needs to be transported over to the customer side. So what are the benefits for your customer that you have with TwinCAT and EtherCAT, this network established?
I think the main benefit is, in any case, the knowledge what we have on the system, that's clear. But also we can reduce online times at the customers if we have an upgrade or we have implement new functionality. It's standardized with EtherCAT, and I think we also have here a cost benefit for the customer.
Now, you know my heart beats for IPCs and panels, obviously, and I just saw behind you this wonderful Beckhoff panel. I know it's a customized panel from us. Please, tell me, why have you decided also to customize your panel?
So operating system with the panel and our user interface is one central function of our machine. And we take a lot of focus on a nice shape, on a clear shape from the machine view. And that's therefore it was elementary for us to integrate the panel in our Baumann design. And yes, you see the result. We did it in the past with you, and I think we have here a good machine view.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, and also thank you for accepting the challenge of this live broadcasting from Nuremberg and Hamburg. I just looked Google Maps. There's a little traffic jam on the A6. I think this is typical for the region. But if you jump into the car right away and speed up, I think in about 1 hour, you can be here. So maybe we see us later today at the booth. Now, what we haven't seen was the Beckhoff motion technology inside the Baumann system. So therefore, at the end of the day, it's a pleasure for me to switch back to Felix for motion use.
And there is no motion without one cable technology, which is for sure also in the Baumann machines. Angela, can you give us a very, very short recap? What is one cable technology?
Sure, Felix. The one cable technology is a combination of the power supply, the thermal contact, and the feedback signal in just one cable. So for each motor, you only need one cable in your machine. And in addition to that, we also have an electronic nameplate which contains all relevant parameters for the motor commissioning.
Okay, this is a worldwide standard in the motion industry, I would say, which we have also invented. And now I can see a linear motor laying next to you, which also has only one cable. What's behind that?
Right. Now we also offer the one cable technology for our linear motors. And that means we also offer the components of the feedback system, so the scanning head and the scale tape. And the primary part of the linear motor and the scanning head form one unit electrically and mechanically. And the scale tape is laid by means of the alignment rail, which runs parallel to the magnetic plates.
So Beckhoff is actually becoming more and more of an entire system supplier. Previously, customers had to pick like linear motor from there, feedback system from there, scale tape from there, and then the alignment guide rail from somebody else. Yeah. So, and now it's all out of one hand. What's the advantage of this?
Yes. On the one hand, we have all advantages of the standard OCT, which are already known from our rotary motors. So due to the reduced cabling, we have obviously a reduced material effort. Then we have a reduced installation effort within the electrical installation. And last but not least, also a reduced space requirement in the direct chain.
Okay. And now we are always trying to focus about scalability of products.
Yes.
So when we want to have something at the top notch, we also want to have it at the lower end. Lower end in terms of linear motors means 48 volt technology.
Yes.
We also consider OCT for these motors.
Right. So here we have our AL8000 motors in combination with AX8000 for 400 volts AC. And also we have our linear motors for the compact drive technology for 48 volts DC, the AL8100 for the ELM72 terminals. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Angela. I think that's a wonderful statement because now the path to the integration of a linear motor gets even smoother for our customers. Thank you.
Perfect.
Now I have one more question which I would like to answer, and this is a question which was asked by somebody in the chat. We are very happy that you take the interactive in Live and Interactive seriously, and Henning, you are the expert for this. It's about controller redundancy. What is the status quo of the development of controller redundancy?
We are still in the process for developing, especially the engineering side. So we have set up a couple of demo systems already for the fair. We have it here and the automation forum. We have set up quite some other demo racks and test cases for that. So I would like to do a better version, having a better phase in the beginning of next year. Okay. And that is the reason why we currently estimate first release for the end of the second quarter of next year.
So I think that's a very interesting statement because you say we are almost there with the development, we start with the beta phase, but we are working on the usability. This is so important that we don't just supply a technology, a solution, but we also have it easy to use, right?
Yes, that's the main reason.
Thank you very much, Henning. I am sure you will have many interesting discussions with many people from all around the world about these and many other topics. Have a wonderful day at the fair. And we are coming now to the end of Beckhoff Live and Interactive here at Wednesday on SPS Fair. Kind regards to Chile, for example. Thank you for tuning in from there. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. German time for the next live stream. Then with Friederike Beckhoff talking about lead times. We will also talk about vision technology, which is packed with technology and with other interesting things. And once again, feel invited to our exhibition booth here in Hall 7 and come and visit us. Today is the day of the booth party, so the best day to visit the booth. Thank you and bye-bye.
So golden, you can see